Kevin is the planning commissioner in Wales Township. He wanted to give a brief talk on an issue that's important to us. He signed up to speak. So go ahead, Kevin, the podium. If you would step over to the podium.
I'd be happy to do that. Okay. I can stand right here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so my name's Kevin Glass. Brief background. Grew up in Roseville, Macomb County. Raised our family in St. Clair County, St. Clair Shores for 30 years, and then we built a home office up in Wales off of Hill Road, so now it's St. Clair County. And without getting into too much details, about a year and a half ago, I wasn't into politics. I hung up all my plaques for being an engineer, all that good stuff as a machinist, and knock on my door, says, you know, they're putting up solar things, and I said, on people's homes? I think so. It ended up being, we discovered 14 leases were signed in Wales Township over a period of 2 or 3 years with gag orders. And we all have this information with the township. So once we saw that, I became interested and I got back into politics immediately. And again, I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission and I'm on the ZBA. So in the last year and a half, we've went through all of the information that's come on board. Well, we haven't even been approached with a application yet at this point. We know the company is next year up from California wanting to put in, if you can imagine, the end of your driveway on a house you just built with your office, 900 acres surrounding all your neighbors' homes. South as far as we can go. We'd be on the tail end of these things for almost 3 miles all through Wales Township.
In one location?
Yep. Well, this is what they want to do in Wales. They're trying others, but so far our ordinances were the strongest at this point. So they never approached us and we were wondering what's going on. It's been 8 months, we heard all this. We filled a hall up with 600 people with speakers to say, this is serious. We can't have this. I mean, people were just very passionate about we can't have, how's this going to happen? So they expected the township to come up with an answer out of that. So we had that meeting, and a short time later, we were wondering what was going on with nobody approaching us. And as of last June, the effort went through the governor, and she brought in these people from renewable energy sources to say, we'd really like to be the leader of all the states on renewable energy. Solar, wind, and whatever we want to do after that. So what's the problem? Well, we're approaching all these rural townships, and their ordinances are not going to let us put it where we want it. Well, where do you want it? Agricultural land. And there's some farmers, like I said, 14 out of the hundreds in Wales Township that signed these leases, gag orders, and said, yeah, this is what we want to do. Nobody wants to farm, but doesn't meet any of our ordinances or the master plan. We want to keep it rural. So the governor, and this is all documented, said, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give them a chance, but you're going to come up with what you want to see on a menu of items so you can put your solar facilities where you want. So all of our eyes opened up. So that's why they're not applying yet, because they think this is going to go through. Well, in September, 2 bills were passed on partisan lines in Lansing. Everything the solar companies wanted is on there. Instead of 300-foot setbacks and no agricultural land, they can put it wherever they want, 50-foot setbacks, and that's just one of many things. We can do it if you let us do this. So the governor said, well, I'm going to appoint 3 Michigan Public Service Commission people, appoint them, to follow what's going on in these townships where you want to put your solar and your wind turbines. And we're going to implement that. We'll put it into law if we can pass it. Well, the 2 bills were passed on party lines, September, I believe. I have all the numbers of the bills if you want to approach that. So immediately, a site went up saying Citizens for Local Choice to fight this and to get everybody in these townships across Michigan involved to educate them on what's going on here. Because if they start with that and we don't fight it, landfills. I could just sit here and go on and on. But since solar is affecting me personally, there's like 10 things that are terrible about it. I won't won't get into it, won't take a lot of your time up, but it's important for all of us to really be passionate what it does to us. So we came up with a reasonable way to address it by trying to get it on a ballot, so people can vote. You want your local township officials to decide what's best for your communities? Or do you want the state to dictate where we're gonna put things like this and how we're gonna do it? You really gotta think about what that can mean for all of us up here north of Detroit. So in any case, I went to the meeting last night on Quaden Road at a place called Milk House. We met there and we need 500,000 signatures, 500,000 by May, to put it on the November ballot. And I should back up and tell you that when the governor did this, she did it in such a way where it couldn't be on a ballot the way she did it, unless enough signatures are made to force them to put it on a ballot so we can decide. It's a pretty steep hill to climb. So today was my first day out with petitions that strictly say it's all about choice. If we can get it on a ballot, at least we can choose and hope enough people will say, yeah, this is what we want to do, and vote that part of the bill down. So then we have it back to our old local commissions, planning commissions, master plan, which is important because that's why we have ordinances, right? To dictate where they're going to put these and where they're not, and how they're going to put them if we do agree to it. So we have to get this, in my opinion, passed. If we don't get it by May, it won't be on the November ballot. In November is when this law takes effect, these two laws. So it's not much time, on purpose, of course. The good news is there's enough people. I'll give you an example. I stopped in Richmond first. How can I get the most signatures that I can, or assign people to do them? Decide if we want the state to run everything in our townships or not. I don't know how else to put that. I think it's important enough for you all to understand the reason I came here. I have petitions if you'd like to sign them, or as things go along, I'll leave my number with Steve. And if you think you need more, that's fine. I mean, this is so timely that by February 23rd, I have to hand in anything I have to at least give him an idea of how fast this is going. No.
That's the whole plan, it seems like.
Yeah.
By design.
It's by design, yeah.
Yeah, so and the UP is 99.9% against all of this for obvious reasons up there. You leave us alone. We want to do what we want to do. And I think the same is that here as far as who's going to make decisions for all of us, in my opinion. So we're trying to get these signatures, these petitions signed, and then they posted on the board last night the different things that are happening in the future that we might want to go to get petitions signed. In fact, President Trump's going to be a thing in Oakland County, and I said, if anybody knows him better than I do, maybe you could get him to ask us to sign these petitions. And I'm thinking of anything we can do. So it's a pretty big effort, but I think it needs to be done in a hurry. So it's that important. I hope everybody can understand it. I mean, if they want the state to decide, that's one thing, but I really don't think people want that. So any questions?
Do you have the petition?
Yeah, do you have the petition?
Petition language is.
I do today, but earlier when I went around, everybody asked me, and I'm getting new to this, but I'll learn fast. I have them with me today, yes.
I just wondered,
If you'd like to
don't
see
you
what-
have to have that, doesn't the petition language have to be approved by the state or something?
It's already been done, thank
Yeah,
you for
okay,
that.
that's what
We had to redo it once
Okay,
to get it specific.
okay.
And it's all been done, it's approved, or I wouldn't be standing here
Right,
starting my
okay,
trek
okay.
across the country.
So this will, I mean, didn't Fort Gratiot Township just turn down, they just went through that 700 acres of solar?
Yeah,
But so they would be affected just like Wales would be.
all of them.
Statewide.
Everybody.
Statewide.
Statewide.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look pretty.
Yeah.
It's
To
every
override all local
Yeah.
ordinance.
So buy all the farmland, buy everything, oh.
Just since you
This can't
mentioned
happen.
Fort Gratiot, if I may, when I was allowed to speak, I looked at all 6 of the commissioners. I said, I was at the training session, you were at St. Clair Township 3 days ago. And if you remember, I asked the question, if a petition is being voted on, can it be approved for the simple reason to make money for somebody? And the attorney, the planner, professional planner said, absolutely not, that petition should not have even made it this far. So I reminded them of that, and they voted it down. But just the fact we're sitting here talking about this, I thought we were past these times, but we could be going back 150 years to somebody taking over, and I just hate to say
Russ
it.
never sleeps.
No, and a lot of us have people that fought for the right.
Right.
So,
Kevin,
yes, ma'am.
if, I can help you get signatures.
Yeah?
Yep, here's my
Perfect.
contact info.
Okay.
You
we'll
want to
get
get hold of
that.
me?
Excuse me.
I can help.
Yeah, sure.
So they're able to be signed tonight, what you have?
Yeah, I decided to skip dinner and just,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be here till you're done.
Bring it back in.
Bring it in here. I'll sign
Finish
it.
your meeting and I'll wait around if that's all right.
I'll sign.
How are, I got a question, I'm sorry.
Please do.
How are you gonna get 500,000 signatures?
There were captains, that's a good question. We did it a smart way, and that is to get the commissioner, Jeff Pemberton, is Port Huron's city council. He addressed this at the meeting last night, and he says, we're gonna appoint county captains, co-county captains who spoke last night, that are addressing those issues, to assign groups or individuals, and then we're gonna report back as the best way to get these petitions signed. Like I'll report in tomorrow, hey, I'm doing this with Richmond and Memphis without going door to door. Maybe we can do it this way. What's the quickest way to get it? So,
I can help as well, if you'd like.
perfect. The important thing is that they did say, if you're gonna get people to help, and I'm that kind of guy, I had my own business for many years, is I like to point things to people, but I like to just make sure everything's done, because if it's not done right,
Straighten
cross
stuff
it
and
off.
put stuff on the ballot.
Yeah. And another thing I learned is it's important, all these petitions we sign for various things in our lifetime. I didn't know this, but when the canvassers go over those, they don't look at every one of those. They do sampling. And the example was brought up, oh, here's one. I don't think he's in this county. Let's look. They take another sample. Here's another one. And after a while, they say 25% are bad. We're gonna cross out, if that's not a good word, but we're gonna deny 25% of these applications or these petitions. So it's so important they're filled out right. In one section, there's a place for the date that you're filling out. So many people write their birth date by accident. So things like that, it's pretty simple, but it's still things that mistakes are made. So yeah, I'd appreciate
So are
that.
your petitions county specific?
Yes, good question there.
It's just for St. Clair and Macomb County?
Any county in Michigan. I might go to Oakland County for
Okay,
this Trump thing.
because you
and I'm
made a
gonna
comment that they're not from the county, a certain county or whatever. it may
When you
be.
start a sheet,
Correct.
each sheet has to be per county.
Just per
Correct.
county, got it, okay. That makes
Very important, yes.
Mhm. And is there an option to set that up on the web
No.
for people to do the petition? No?
You have to have them signed, you can't copy the petition and then send it to somebody else, it has to be that petition. Now you can, if you really trust that the person that's gonna take them to fill it out exactly right, that's great for their health.
Mhm.
It's just gotta be done right,
Mhm.
for all the reasons I just explained, so.
What did you say the deadline was?
May, I don't know the date. But again, they're gonna take a pulse February 23rd, and again, there's another date, March. Another pulse will be taken, and then the final will be May when we hand them in, so. Yeah, it's pretty aggressive, I understand that, but it's important. And it's probably for a reason that we have to do this like the way it is, because somebody wants it done in state, and I can't believe 4 people decide what we're gonna do. It's hard to believe.
Bazillions of dollars out there for all these
Oh,
energy companies, and that's a good way of passing out.
yes,
money.
sir. So I got a letter today. I'm a Facebook guy sometimes, but then I get in trouble, so I stay off it. So there's a letter from DTE that people are starting to receive. This one was Sand Lake County saying, so,
I seen that.
yeah, I brought it with me, that says, we're about ready to make sure your leaders of your townships understand the new laws that are already in effect, completely ignoring what we're trying to do on a ballot initiative. And that means that as we send projects to you, to approve, you need to have your ordinances, if it's a mirror image of what the state's pretty much dictating, we should be able to work things out. If it's not, they don't tell you what they're gonna do. But what I'm afraid of is, in our rural counties, we like how we live and where we live. And I have other people whisper in my ear, they're never gonna make it down this road. And I hate to say that, if it's on a record, I don't care, but I don't think she knows what's gonna happen here. There are too many people that are, I had 150-year-old century people up there with their parents, 89 years old, going, what? It's gonna be surrounded with, solar panels, really, and the wind turbines?
Has there been any discussion among the people that you're working with about if it doesn't work out, that somebody could try to get an injunction against that law going into effect in November?
It's been talked about on a sideline, besides these ballot initiatives. I think the price was 7 to 10 million, maybe,
To
to
challenge
fight
it
it, legalize, to challenge things, because it's been shown that it's against Michigan's constitution and what they're doing. The governor herself said before all this a year and a half ago, we can't take away the local people's right to control their destiny. It's a quote kind of like that, and then she turned around. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, it's not over, even if we get the ballot, and we
Right.
still gotta hope it passes.
Right.
But people need to understand, if we're gonna do these, you're gonna get questions like, well, I like solar, great. If you want windmills in every yard and solar panels and that's fine, but don't you think your local people should decide where they're gonna put them? That's important, so we're not stepping on anybody's ideas.
It's everything, yeah.
Yeah, and the next is gonna be landfills and all the other good things that could happen if it starts here. And you know what they call that in other countries, but I'll leave that alone.
Well, good luck.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you giving me the time to talk.
You're welcome.
I'll wait around.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Oh, you're welcome.
Much
Appreciate
appreciated.
it.
Yeah, we'll keep the drum here, a lot of people
Yeah,
on the same page, we like our.
Like that, that's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Two,
Small deal.
20 years now I've been here, I just can't believe it.
I'll make sure I exchange phone numbers with you too.
Yeah, please.
Before we leave.
Will do, thank you.